Hello guys. Today we are going to be talking about a movie that came out this summer, some odd time ago, of course. Furiosa. Um, this is an interesting movie here. That it's kind of a weird case here. This movie is rated R, and it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It has 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and let's see here. 79% on Metacritic with 341 critics. That's directed by George Miller, who of course did the other Mad Max movies. Stars Anya Taylor-Joy, who we've seen in there's quite a bit. The Netflix show Queen's Gambit's a big one. That's something I could probably do for a vlog series at some point. Actually, and Chris Hemsworth, who we know for Thor and all that. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 90% by critics, 406 critics, and 89% by audience people with 1,000-ish audiences in that. The critics' consensus is retroactively enriching Fury Road with greater emotional heft, if not quite matching it in propulsive throttle. Furiosa is another glorious swerve in mastermind George Miller's breathless race towards cinematic Valhalla. All right. I don't know. I know I reviewed Fury Road on a channel before, but I don't know if I talked about the other Mad Max movies on a channel before. Um, but I really like those movies. Those are really good movies. Some of my favorites. Fury Road's probably one of my favorite movies, especially of the franchise. Um, this is kind of a weird case because the best thing I could say to summarize this movie and why some people may not care for it as much. Um, the whole thing was written before Fury Road, but they filmed Fury Road first. And this movie feels like that. This definitely feels like a part one that aired way after part two. Um, so now, in terms of the biggest difference between this and other Mad Max movies is this movie goes into the background of everything by so much more than the other movies. Like before this movie, the only other Mad Max movie that even kind of talked about or hinted about world building or anything was Thunderdome. Like the first movie was kind of, it didn't really tell what was going on. It kind of showed it. Second movie, there's hints throughout, but it's pretty much now, out of all but like I said, all the movies, this one's very dialogue focused. Almost not dialogue focused, but story focused, almost to a fault. Because there is, I'm not going to get into spoilers with this one, but I could. I don't know. But this one dedicates a large chunk of the movie to like a lot of background stuff that could have been its own Netflix series or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, I think because the Fury Road came out, God, 8 to 10 years prior to this movie, and to be honest, I the problem this movie has, in all honesty, is that, like I said, it's a part one, and I didn't realize this before because I didn't watch any of the Mad Max movies going into this as a refresher or anything, and didn't realize that, and I was left thinking, well, is she gonna do this or that? And I realized, oh my god, I think she does these things in Fury Road, and I'm just like, this movie should have come out before Fury Road. That's the biggest problem with this movie, was that it came out, not just it came out after Fury Road, it came out way after Fury Road. And I don't know, I kind of feel like, and after seeing it, I don't know why they waited so long, in all honesty. I guess George Miller, I know he's a gajillion years old. I get that. But 10 years is a long time. And I didn't really catch a lot of it when I saw it in theaters, but I saw it with Corey and friends, and they're Mad Max people too. And this movie does use a kind of a bit more CGI in this one than they used, because the other movies just were very practical heavy. Fury Road very coolly was practical heavy with maybe some CGI usage, but not a ton. This one, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say it uses a lot of CGI because I don't think it does, but it probably uses it a bit more than other ones do. But but it's kind of weird because it's one of those movies where the numbers say that everyone loves it, and I don't think anyone didn't like it, but I don't think, it seems like consensus is it's good, but it's not as good as Fury Road. And I think the biggest reason why it's not as good as Fury Road, because this is all set up to Fury Road, and I think we have something as great as Fury Road. I don't think the setup to it. I don't think you can really match that. And having said that, I think Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's fantastic in this. Like, nobody. Like, this movie, I think, is really, really good. Like, even though I criticize a bit of the world building, it's actually really good at it, and it's very refreshing to hear a Mad Max movie talk about world building a bit, because there really hasn't been a ton in decades of it. So it's refreshing. But having said that, I feel like I would much rather see that kind of a decent, not all of it, but there's a specific chunk of it I think should have been reserved for a mini series or something, and just made this movie a little shorter. Cause to be honest, and you know what, there are times, and I know some people are criticizing that they call it a Mad Max saga, but there's Mad Max isn't in the movie. But in all honesty, they don't make hints that it's all about Furiosa, and I don't mind them shifting focus to Furiosa as the main person of this world. I don't mind that at all. But I think, but there's a character in this movie, and it's not a bad character, and the actor does a great job with him and everything. But I just, I just saw him, and I'm just thinking, kind of during it, I'm like, why not just use Mad Max? Like, seriously. And I get that in Fury Road they first met, but if you're gonna have a character like this, like, if you're gonna do a character like this, don't make them so similar to Mad Max. Cause I'm not shitting you. It really feels like Mad Max. And I'm just like, why not just make him different? Cause I'm just sitting there watching her and him, and I'm just like, I just wish it was just Mad Max now. Like, I'm not saying he should be the main character or anything, but if you're gonna, like, tiptoe around, like, Mad Max isms, just do Mad Max. Like, don't halfway it. Like, but yeah, overall, I think for 10 years of build up to a follow up to Fury Road, I don't think it's kind of weird, because on one hand the movie's really good, but I think the film would shine better if it came before Fury Road. And to be honest, I think and another thing too, I think, well, I appreciate the world building it. I think some of it, at least some of it, not all of it, but some of it should have been saved for a separate project. And I think they should have just made this a nice 2 hour ish movie where it was just pretty much Furiosa being Furiosa. Because I feel like this is also kind of one of those movies where there is time dedicated to, like, other characters a little bit. And that's fine in the Mad Max movies, because the Mad Max movies are unique, where even though Mad Max is a main character, he's not kind of treated like a main character. He's kind of treated more like an observer and just kind of a force. You know, like a force, not necessarily like somebody you need to hear talk or speak a lot. Furiosa's not like that. Furiosa is like a character. She was developed, shown as a character, and you kind of have to keep that. But doing that, it kind of makes shifting the focus to other characters, I don't think it's as smooth. Um, but I'm saying all these things, but in all honesty, at the end of the day, this is a really good movie. Like, I wouldn't call it, put it above Fury Road. I would probably put it in. I don't even know how I would rank it with other Mad Max movies, in all honesty, because I don't think it should go lower than the main three, in all honesty, because, like, I don't. It's just like, for example, like Thunderdome. It's probably better than Thunderdome, but it feels weird putting this up, putting, because I don't know if I want to put this below Thunderdome, and I don't think this should be. But I don't think this should be higher than the other two Mad Max movies either, because I feel like I feel like for as much this movie brings and everything, I feel like there is a sense that and one other thing is too is that I feel like the George Miller touch isn't quite there, and I think a lot of that too is that he is very very old, and I think he needed more people to help. Hell, he needed a little bit help in the last movie from his wife, who did a great job in it, and I'm kind of shocked that she. I don't think she was really involved in this one, which I'm shocked because why wouldn't she be? But I don't know. There's just a lot of very very little things in this movie that add up to the point where I'm like, this is really good, but that's kind of the thing with this movie. It's really good, but it really should have had this, this, and this. I just think some of the choices made in this movie would have been perfectly fine if the movie came out before Fury Road. It's like when they and prequels are fine. There's nothing wrong with a prequel, but there's a difference between a prequel and releasing part one after part two, because the real difference is with the prequel, it's supposed to take place before the main story, but it's not required viewing as a part to the main story. Like you don't really necessarily need to see a prequel to watch that. Would it help? Sure, but it's not necessary. Um, with this one though, it kind of is, because yeah, you could watch Fury Road without watching this, and it's fine. But the way it's written, it's definitely written as, hey, this is part one to part two. But and that's funny because I think Fury Road was made with the idea that you don't necessarily need to watch this, but but this was made so that you have to watch Fury Road. While with other prequels, they're not necessarily made to that you have to watch the main one. I mean, they kind of are, but not really, because it's more of an exploratory background thing. Because prequels are made with the idea that you already watched the main one, while this one isn't made with the idea that you watch the main one. This is me. This I feel like this was made to get you to watch the second one, not that you already watched Fury Road. It's weird, like like I said, the way it's made and stuff. It definitely and like I said, there's a lot of great things in this movie. There really is, but I think I would have. I think a few decisions were made during the making of this movie that I think they should have gone the other way with. Not necessarily with how it's made or the quality of it, but what it means and what it does in conjecture to other Mad Max movies, specifically Fury Road. Cause this definitely feels, and that reminds me too. There are definitely with the world establishing bit, it does kind of make you wonder like how connected these are to the other Mad Max movies before Fury Road, and it does. And the more they get into it, the more you feel like this should have just come out before Fury Road, because it definitely feels like a lot of build up and setup for something that was released 10 years ago. And I know I think they're also because with everything they're trying to, and another thing too is George Miller being a gajillion years old. I also think that they were trying to like get other people involved, so when he does like go to the big movie studio in the sky, that they can do shit without him with Mad Max, because they already got people that have art in it, which makes sense. But like I said, I gotta watch this movie again, and especially with conjecture to the other Mad Max movies, to really kind of get a hint of stuff. So this may need some second opinions, but but I think the best way to watch it is watch it watch it as a part one to Fury Road, and with that perspective, because I mean, outside of that, the movie's great. Even despite the choices on some directions and stuff, I do think this movie is legitimately like really good. It's just it's just 10 years. That's a long time. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just a long time for something like this. For the choices and certain things they made, they really should have just made it like come first, or at least maybe tweak it a bit so that it didn't feel like a part one to Fury Road. But I don't know. Again, what do I know? But yeah, overall, do I recommend watching it? Definitely, for sure. Just keep in mind that if you're expecting like Fury Road, this isn't Fury Road. This is more. It's not Fury Road. It's more like Fury Trail, Angry Trail. It's kind of like that because there's definitely action. There's definitely hints of Fury Road, but it's definitely, it definitely feels like they're trying to it. You definitely feel a conventional touch in the film as well as a George Miller touch, and eh, it's just one of those things where you kind of have to watch to see for yourself and get your 2 cents in. But I will say this: I do recommend watching the other Mad Max movies, especially Fury Road, and then watching this, and kind of you can feel the difference. But yeah, overall though, still a good movie. I do recommend watching it. I'm just saying that it's a little funky. But outside of all that, that's going to do it for this video here, guys. Thanks for watching. In case you guys wanted to chat with anyone at the camping company, you didn't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find like that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a community tab on our channel as well. You can access that anywhere at any time. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.